Hey guys, Jay Wilson from Onyx Reporting here. This is the second half of the tutorial, or the actual tutorial part of the tutorial, if you will, where I'm going to share with you the MySQL code for how we built the blowout table that allows us to turn basically a trial balance into an income statement complete with totaling account, which was this. I built it using MySQL, and I always recommend, if you can, use Magic ETL to do your ETL. But if you have to, only if you have to, use MySQL. And this is actually one of the cases where Magic ETL literally cannot do some of the joins and stuff that we're going to end up doing in ETL. So I had to use MySQL. But I should just say it out now, Magic ETL is always my favorite. Now, what's interesting here, and we saw this in the previous video, I go from having a chart of accounts with 294 rows to a chart of account with a blowout version of the chart of accounts that has 1,400 rows. And to remind us of what's in the chart of accounts, remember, it doesn't matter if you're using Dynamics Nav, which is what we're using, or if you're using Business Central or NetSuite or SAP, right? Every structure is going to have some form of a chart of accounts that says, let's stick with the example we used last time, that says, hey, these are posting accounts. These are where I actually post transactions to. But when I look at a final income statement report, I want to see it rolled up into these posting accounts. And these totaling accounts, good Lord. And these totaling accounts span posting accounts in this range. Okay, this kind of stuff should be maintained in your ERP system. And what I love about the solution that I'm about to show you is, because you're maintaining the data in your ERP system, I can set up Domo to always show you exactly what you see in NetSuite or exactly what you see in any. And you don't have to maintain any code or anything. It just works day in, day out. Now, if you said, but Jay, we don't have end total and begin total accounts in our system, well, you probably do, you just don't know it. Or you can maintain it in a web form or something like that where you define how data gets rolled up, which is kind of useful because it seems to me, despite having the chart of accounts, no accountant uses it. I'm going to get myself in trouble. But I've also worked with a lot of accountants, and it has been the case. Now, I'm looking for my account. So the only two data sets that I need are the chart of accounts and a list of numbers between 1 and a gazillion. All right, ignore me. We're going to ignore you. That's old legacy ETL. I don't need that. All right. The first thing we're going to do, and I think I do this for all of my ETL, is I try to get it like in a semi-clean state. So I'm just going to select the columns that I want. I'll do some light renaming. And then if account type is 0, I'm actually going to put in the text that it's a posting account. If the account type is a 1, it's a heading. Now this case statement I can use or I can discard, but it's kind of nice to just have nicer end user experience, but I don't have to have it. I'm also throwing in a where clause that says discard all of my begin total accounts, because begin total and end total accounts are very similar, except for only in this system, only the end total accounts have the totaling range. These kind of rules, like this ETL should give you an idea how it can be done, but obviously you're going to have to adjust it for however your system is set up. Cool. Here we just go straight to 11. This code will be very familiar if you watched my tutorial video about parsing JSON strings. I'll include a link in the description. But the gist of it is if I have an account number, if I have a totaling range, I want to split it into what is on the left side and what is on the right side, and I define that split by the ... So that's this second to last substring index dot dot versus dot dot minus 1. Okay. But there's this zany left join on my list of numbers. I'm going to talk through that one because that's a little bit confusing. So let me add a little transform here at the bottom, and we're going to go through this piece by piece. How am I going to do it? I'm going to just delete that, comment this out, and then I'm going to include n.num. N is the alias for my numbers. Let's just take a quick look at what this. Okay. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to accommodate for cases where the totaling range has a pipe in it. Nav has this weird thing where I can use pipes as an OR. And that actually makes sense if you think about it, because like what is this? I think it's like retained earnings in the balance sheet side, where retained earnings will be all of the accounts between like assets to liabilities, or all of my income statement accounts, which are 60 to 9999. I just made that up. I actually don't remember the ranges. Let's do where totaling is like percent pipe percent. Yeah, let's. Okay, so what comes back? So this is what the original value was. It has the pipe in it, but you can see it's been split across 2 rows. And you can also see that the number changes between 0 and 1. So to read this, what it says is, give me the length of totaling. So let's assume this is 19, all right? And then do minus number. So 19 minus 1, 19 minus 2, 19 minus 3, 19 minus 4. But keep all rows where the length is greater than equal to the length of totaling after you replace the pipes with a blank. So basically there's one blank. So if this was 19, 19 minus 1 blank is 18. So join where the length of totaling minus 0, totaling minus 1, totaling minus 2 is greater than or equal to 18. So it's 0 and 1. That was a really long explanation, but I hope that makes sense. Again, if you need to watch the JSON tutorial, do that. Cool. Once that's split out, what we're going to do is we're going to work our way out from the middlemost substring. So the first thing I want to do is I want to say, okay, give me let me, how am I going to do this, right? When in doubt, run the code. So substring index says find the 1 plus number, so 1 plus 0 or 1 plus 1 instance of the pipe, and then give me everything to the left. So what's that going to look like? That's going to look like an error message. Very good, Mr. Wilson. Okay, so this is my R1. So give me 1 plus 0, and then give me the 1 plus 1 instance of the pipe, which is a whole string. Cool. Then the next substring index, which goes through here, the next substring index is going to say, from the right, because minus 1, give me all of the characters after the last pipe, or the first pipe from the right, however you count it. Okay. And so now my R2 is going to say, okay, well, there was no pipe, so I give you the whole string. And here I go to the left, I find my first pipe, and then I give you everything after the pipe. So that gives you that. Cool. To keep us from getting confused, I'm going to comment R1 out. We'll keep R2, and then we're going to start looking at our final substring. Okay, so what this does is it says, find the dot dot and keep everything to the right of the dot dot. And so that would give us this. And if it was a positive one, it would give me everything to the left of the first dot dot. I'm just going to do one example. I don't need both sides because you guys can figure it out. Unless I have a syntax error. Okay, so now I'm keeping everything to the right of the last dot dot, whatever. So here's 319, here's 999, here's 599, and then again, you would have the matching side to the left. So that's this whole code all run together with comments in between. And again, you can just see that. Here is the example of capturing 1100.1190, and it just splits them into 2 columns. Super easy. Now, in cases where there is no totaling, it just fills it with a 0. Fine. But I can't have zeros because what I ultimately want to do, and this is where the brilliance comes in, I'm going to join back on itself for all of the rows between this and that, if the account type is a posting account. But I also need to have here for my begin, start, and end, I need to have the account number filled in if there is no value, because otherwise the join isn't going to work. That's a terrible explanation. But basically, I'm setting L1 and R1 equal to the account number if L1 is blank. So I'm going to run that bit of code, and then let's see what my join table looks like now. Okay, so it looks like the exact same table again, only I filled in the account number if L1 and R1 were previously blank. And again, what that's going to allow me to do is it's going to allow me to say, take this data and then do an inner join on the NV clean, right, which is the raw data, but only the subset of data that I wanted to keep. And I'll do select, let's say select num as posting num, which is not what I called it in the final data set, but we are where we are. Select num as posting num from NV clean where the account type is equal to 0 because I only want posting account. And we're going to call this P as opposed to T. And we're going to join on P.num is between T.L_1 and R_1. Syntax error because I don't have the word on. Get out. What are you doing? Oh, because I think I called it account. Okay, so again, remember the first row, left 1 and R1, they're the same value, so there's nothing in between those two. But when I get down to a totaling row, like this guy here, 6140 to, nope, not a totaling row here, 6110 to 6190, that spans 110, 120, 130, and so on. I can illustrate that here. I'll just do a where clause. So these are all of the cases where my join column or my posting column is between this totaling, where to go, that totaling. And that, friends, is this final line of the ETL. And then I've just chosen a subset of these columns to include, but you can see I'm joining on where the account is 0, and there's my join clause. And that allows me to output a final data set that is ultimately this 1.4 thousand rows, but then that's what I take into my Fusion. Here. I do an advanced version of this where I do a couple more permutations to like give me that indentation thing, but I'm going to call that outside of the scope of this video. But if you're interested in how I got that indentation thing done, drop me a line. I'll be happy to like go over the code with you or send you an email with the actual code sample. You can always email me at jae@onyxreporting.com. Thank you so much, guys. I'll catch you later.